So what is up, guys? Welcome to another tutorial for you newcomers and Vanguard players. So today we'll be going over Bermuda Triangle, the one that's been voted, and I think a lot of you voted first. So let's get to it and describe what Bermuda Triangle is all about. So we're going to be going over the grade 0s and pretty much the grade 3s, but some cards have different effects in this one, so we'll go over them, tell you what it's all about. Alright, let's start things off with Bermuda Triangle Cadet Riviera. So how Riviera works is you ride one of her evolution forms on top of her. Evolution being her grade 1, which is this. Once you ride on top of her, you get a draw card. So there's your draw power with this unit. If you're running her as just your plain Vanguard. And the whole point is every time you ride into her, you do a lot more. She gains like an extra special effect, but every time you ride on top of Riviera with her next form or her next storyboard, you get to draw a card. Which leads into our final Riviera right here, top idol. And she has a Persona Blast that gives units plus 5,000 power, which is good. So usually a deck with her can require stand triggers. That way you get the bang for your buck on that Persona Blast, without a doubt. Because that's like giving a unit 10,000 power of anything, and you can run over a lot of cards with that. So that's good. Alright, next is pretty much the basis of Bermuda Triangle. Wendell. Wendell's just there for rebounds. Rebounds is when you return a card from your field to your hand. There's plenty of effects like that. So we won't show you those cards, we'll just tell you the deck build afterwards for that. So Cadet Shizuka. Shizuka pretty much gets you any grade 3 from the top 5 cards. I mean, no one really runs this. It's a VP farm unit, but there's like no use for it when you got like Wendell pretty much being the main forerunner for that deck. Alright. So Pearl's sisters, Pearly. What Pearly does is she lets her sister Perla draw a card. And Perla has a great effect when she actually attacks. She can return another rearguard to your hand. So she has a combo play when it comes to Girls Rock Rio. And Girls Rock Rio, when she goes back to the hand, you counterblast one, soul charge, draw a card. They're usually all about soul charging and drawing a card. You're really slimming out your deck to a point you hit your triggers faster, but you also get the cards you need in the end. So that's good. Obviously your PG, we went over this in the previous video. I don't think you need more explanation on how those PGs work. Alright, so Merveilleux Faluca, when this card's placed, soul charge. So again, trimming your deck. Next, Prism of the Water Meritoa. What this card does is lets you and your opponent draw a card. It's very good for endgame plays. It's good to try to deck out your opponent and for him to miss his trigger checks. You can make him draw the card instead of him getting a trigger. So there's some use to that. So Bermuda Triangle deck Carvel, pretty much one place, Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. So you can get a draw by just Soul Blasting 2 cards from your soul, which is pretty easy to soul charge with some of these units. And all that good stuff. Sedna is just a vanilla 8,000 booster. Blazing Idols lets you choose another unit. That unit gets plus 2,000 power, so that comes in handy in certain situation builds. If you're going for stands and all that, or you play Blazing Idol for extra attack, because it can legit just be like an 8,000 booster in the end, or just a 6,000 depending how you want to play it. Either way, a good grade 1 nonetheless. Navy Dolphin Amur, no one uses. When this unit boosts it hits, you may discard a card to draw a card, and you've seen that effect plenty of times. This unit attack, this unit boost hits a Vanguard, so let's do return one of your other rear guards to your hand. So this card is good because it's like, oh, this helps me pull out the Rio effect, but you don't really need to do that when you got like pretty much everything like Perla doing the return anyways. Not a lot of people run this card. It's not that good. Anyways, like we said, we went over Rio being that free charge. Mermaid Flutes is a great card. If you have 4 more rear guards, pretty much your Bermuda Triangles, it becomes 1100 beat stick, 11k, which is nice. Vanilla 10,000, top idol Aqua. So Intelli Idol Meville, pretty much Reindeer's pre-evolution in my opinion. What she does is, once you draw a check grade 3, you can return a rear guard to your hand and call a card from your hand to an empty rear guard circle. So pretty much you can play a grade 3 early from your hand if it's just like a rear guard type grade 3 like Secum. Secum being right here. You can do that to play that. And that's like a 1,300 units, so you can get that extra attack in. We'll go over the grade 3s after. So that'll be pretty useful in the end. It's like having a reindeer. And we have our Snow White of the Corals, Claire. Gives you an extra 2,000 power when she's placed. So it's like a grade 2 intercept, like the Blazing Idols, as you saw here. But it's an intercept with that 2,000 booster. So that's for Pacifica plays, which we're about to go over in this grade 3 dissection. So Reindeer is the biggest unit in Bermuda Triangle. This is like the big main. Since she returned your unit back to your hand, she legit plays another rear guard. So pretty much when you trigger drive check a grade 3, you return your rear guard that you attacked with, goes back to your hand, give the boost of the trigger to your back row since you didn't use the boost yet, and then you just summon the unit again, and that's how they get their power. So when you drive check, pretty much this 1100 beat stick beats a lot of the rear intercepts in this game, and you have a booster in the back of her. When you drive check a grade 3 with Reindeer, you're going to be putting that card back in your hand. This card would go back to your hand, and you'd be summoning it again, and it would keep its 1100, and the unit in the back of it got an extra 5,000 boost if you ran over with Reindeer normally. So that's the Reindeer. This is Pacifica, pretty much a good endgame card. If you have, she has a Mega Blast when this, but it has to hit the Vanguard sadly. You Soul Blast 6, Counter Blast 4, call up the 3 cards from your deck. So that's like extra attacks after doing your first 2 attacks with your intercepts. With your other 2 rear guards in the front, then you can just replace them with more rear guards that can attack again to try to go for game, if it's possible, when they're at the 4th damage, and you know what to do from there. The Pacifica is good, but she's running in every deck. Bermuda Princess Lina, she is a princess. She does return cards from the field to your hand. So if you need to remake your field, she's always a go-to. Obviously, that helps with certain plays, like certain endgames. I actually did wish I drew her, because if my opponent had like 3 cards and I had 2 of these out, I would just do the Lina effect, return these 2, play them again, and make sure I just deck my opponent out in the end, because once they draw the card, it's game over. There's no turn. And I actually got into that situation. I was very sad I couldn't do it. Rainbow Light, Karen, turns to the hand, Counter Blast 1, Soul Charge 1. So it's pretty much Rio, but as a grade 3 that can intercept. When you can just do that with Rio. That's why she's not run that much, but you know, I don't run her. I don't deal with that. I just deal with Lina, Pacifica, and Reindeer in my builds. Serum as well, because that 3,000 extra boost. That 3,000 extra boost is really nice. 1,300 is a big deal, especially with these cross-ride units. And Top Idol, Florist, when this unit attack hits, so let's return your rear guards to your hand. Why would you want to do that? Maybe after you did something, you know? Like maybe you wanted to use a perfect card to boost. Maybe that card could come in handy. You know, you're just returning the card, because all this card has to do what? Is hit. And that's perfect. You got your boost worth, and then you just return the booster back to your hand. There's many things you can do. So that's Bermuda Triangle, really. The Reindeer rebounds are the strongest plays. She's a really good unit. She's actually the rank award for this season. For the season, so pretty much go for that with your Reindeer. Pretty much what you would run in those builds is obviously the Perlas. The Perlas are the free draws, because you want to get those draw checks in. I run like 2 of her. She's good. I mean, you draw a card, especially when I run a very heavy critical deck. I like getting draw checks in without the use of my without a draw trigger, and just let the damage flow, wasting PGs from my opponent. PGs being, like we said, these beautiful shield units right there. All right. So yeah, so that's Bermuda Triangle. Definitely get your Perlas. Like I said before, get your Rios, your flutes, Rios, flutes. You even have this, and it's not a bad card to run. It's a good, very good next tier Reindeer if you play it right. And that is your Bermuda Triangle tutorial. Any other cards would you run? You wouldn't run Riviera. Riviera is a different type of build. You gotta just do a build based around her. Pacifica, here, Reindeer, and this are pretty much your base units for heals and crits. With Secum just being that one unit that does is just there for that extra trigger check. That's it. Everything else, no point. Anyways. So yeah, those are pretty much your base units for Bermuda Triangle. I hope this video does help you if you want to make Bermuda Triangle. Those are my little tips and tricks for you guys. So thanks for watching. Be good, stay safe, and I'll see you all another time for another tutorial and a deck profile. because Neo Nectar is coming out this week, so that's going to be interesting to teach you guys as well.